Loneliness is spreading, it's affecting millions. This is not just about being alone, this is about a deep feeling of isolation. Many people feel lonely, this includes young adults. Studies show this is a growing problem. In the United Kingdom, 60% of young adults report feeling lonely. In the United States, the number is 46%. This is a serious issue. We need to understand it. We need to find solutions. Many factors contribute to this epidemic. One factor is our modern lifestyle. We are busier than ever. We work long hours. We have less time for social connections. Technology also plays a role. We spend hours on our phones and computers. This can make us feel more connected, but it can also make us feel more isolated. This epidemic has serious consequences. Loneliness affects our mental health. It can lead to depression and anxiety. It also affects our physical health. Studies show that loneliness can weaken our immune systems. It can even shorten our lifespans. We need to address this issue. We need to find ways to connect with each other. We need to create a world where fewer people feel lonely. Loneliness is a feeling, it is not a fact. You can be alone without being lonely. You can be surrounded by people and still feel lonely. It is a subjective experience. It is about how we perceive our social connections. Loneliness is also a biological function. It is like hunger or thirst. It is a signal from our bodies. This signal tells us that something is wrong. It tells us that we need to connect with others. This feeling exists for a reason. Humans are social creatures. We need connection to survive. Our ancestors lived in tribes. They relied on each other for protection and support. Being rejected from the tribe was dangerous. It could mean death. Loneliness is our body's way of preventing that. When we feel lonely, we are driven to connect. We seek out social interaction. We try to strengthen our bonds with others. This is a natural and healthy response. Loneliness has always existed, but it is more common now than ever before. Why is this? One reason is that our societies have changed. We have become more individualistic. We are less connected to our communities. This shift began centuries ago. During the Renaissance, there was a growing emphasis on the individual. People began to question traditional authority. They began to focus on their own personal goals. The Industrial Revolution accelerated this trend. People moved from rural areas to cities. They left their families and communities behind. They worked long hours in factories. They lived in crowded, impersonal conditions. In the 20th century, there were even more changes. The rise of the automobile made it easier for people to move around. The nuclear family became the norm. People were less likely to live near extended family. All of these changes have weakened community ties. We are less likely to know our neighbors. We are less likely to participate in community events. We are more likely to live our lives in isolation. Section 4. The modern lifestyle and the paradox of connectivity. Today, we live in a world that is more connected than ever before. We have smartphones, social media, and the internet. We can connect with people all over the world, but ironically, this hyperconnectivity has contributed to our loneliness epidemic. How is this possible? One reason is that technology has changed our expectations. We are used to instant gratification. We expect people to be available 24/7. When they are not, we feel disappointed. Another reason is that technology can be a poor substitute for face-to-face interaction. Online communication lacks the richness of in-person communication. We miss out on non-verbal cues such as body language and tone of voice. Finally, technology can be a major distraction. We spend hours scrolling through social media. We watch endless videos. This takes away from the time we could be spending with loved ones. It also prevents us from engaging in activities that bring us joy and connection. Section 5. Combating loneliness, a multifaceted approach. The loneliness epidemic is a complex problem. It requires a multifaceted approach. There is no single solution. But there are things we can do as individuals and as a society. As individuals, we can start by making time for social connection. We can put down our phones. We can make an effort to spend time with loved ones. We can join clubs and groups. We can volunteer in our communities. We can also work on our own thinking patterns. Loneliness can make us feel negative. We may start to believe that we are unlovable or unworthy. It is important to challenge these thoughts. We need to remind ourselves that we are worthy of love and connection. If we are struggling, we should not hesitate to seek professional help. A therapist can teach us coping skills. They can help us to identify and challenge negative thought patterns. they can also provide support and guidance. As a society, we need to create environments that foster connection. This means investing in public spaces, such as parks and community centres. It means promoting policies that support work-life balance. It also means addressing social issues such as poverty and discrimination that can contribute to loneliness.